part two. It is also getting cold. It is one more thing in a list of 1,001 things that pain me and hurt my heart in recent years, because in years gone by, the worst of the worst that we had here in Florida for cold weather didn't bother me. I was born and raised here. You know, uh, never experienced a northern winter. The closest thing to it is me and Melissa went to Boston for a week in 2015, and we were there. We were there in November, and it got cold, but not like any winter gales or anything like that. No snow. We were chased out of Boston the day we left by a winter storm, and it chased us all the way to our connecting flight, which was in Baltimore. Didn't get to, go out and explore Baltimore. We were just there, for a connecting flight, but there was brewed up a winter storm, and it did chase us south out of Boston, and the turbulence was pretty intense, the most intense turbulence I had ever experienced. I think I've only flown 4 times. But it was intense. But anyway, I've never had a problem with the cold down here. I've had people come down here from up north and, thinking that they would be just fine in our coldest weather down here. And sometimes they are. But I've also had people, tell me they don't understand, because, it's like 35, 40 degrees up here, and they're used to, 0 and below from places where they've come from or where they've been. And, it's so biting down here. And that's because of the humidity. The humidity makes the summers worse here, but it also makes the winters worse. The summertime, you sweat so much and you stay damp. Everything is just damp. But that humidity doesn't go away with the cold. So when it's cold here, it really bites into you because of that humidity. And, I grew up with it and being used to it. When I was a kid, I think the central heat and air in that mobile home lasted probably the first 5 or 6 years. Maybe a little longer. I have memories of the furnace working when I was, 2 or 3 years old, maybe. But it did not last, and we heated that mobile home with, a couple space heaters here and there, and we used electric blankets. Or we just bundled up, but the cold never bothered me all that much. My ex-wife used to call me her personal space heater. We would be, out on the town doing something here in downtown. After dark, there's this really great little coffee stand down by the fort. We go there and get coffee or cocoa sometimes. And, she'd be dressed up like the Michelin tire man, and I'd just be wearing, one jacket. And she would go about 15-20 minutes before she would come up to me and put her arms under my jacket and wrap around me and press against me, and she would get relief like she just climbed into an electric blanket. And she used to call me her personal space heater. I sure do miss that. Both her calling me that and being that, I used to have this raging internal fire, and I never got cold, or it never affected me as much as it did anybody around me. No longer. It's probably like 50, maybe 55 out there right now, and I took Joey out to his mom's car and said my goodbyes, and by the time I got back in the house, I felt like I was crawling out of a ice water bath. And I don't have good circulation anymore either. That's one problem I've been having. So I'm not only freezing on the outside, I'm freezing on the inside too. I'm gonna fix myself a bite to eat here in a little bit once I'm done with this, and then I'm probably gonna go to bed early and crawl up under my blankets. I don't think I'm gonna get desperate enough to break out the blanket that she made for me. She made me a blanket for Christmas, our second Christmas together, and I loved it. She was my ex-wife. Loved to do crochet, and she made some really great stuff out of yarn, and she made this blanket, this crocheted like Afghan, but really tight curls, so it's not like, it doesn't have like gaps you can poke your finger through. It's really tight, it's really warm, and I used that thing for so many years. But after she left, I just couldn't use it anymore. I washed it and I bundled it up and I stuck it in the closet upstairs. Probably gonna give it to my kiddo because I just can't get under it. We had a good Halloween though. We had a good trick or treat. Joey had lots of fun. At some point between leaving to go pick him up at the bus stop and coming back from the bus stop, my alternator belt finally broke. So my folks took us around the neighborhood in a Jeep. I got a deep cycle battery in the truck, but it is a Walmart battery, and I would have had to, burn the headlights, and I don't know if I could have made trick or treat, and with no alternator belt, the alternator wasn't working to recharge the system. My luck, it would have died the furthest point from the house we got to. So my folks took us around. We went around for about an hour and a half. Joey had lots of fun. He filled up that Carl cupcake candy bucket I made for him 3 times over. And now he's got a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and then a half-gallon Ziploc bag full of candy. He's got candy for months. Let's see. Is it there? Yeah. I'm knocking stuff over. An eye fell off. This is the candy bucket that I made him. It's missing a googly eye. It fell off over here at some point. but it made the whole trick or treat. So that is Carl Cupcake, a character from Five Nights at Freddy's. And he wanted that as a candy bucket for trick or treat. He filled that thing up 3 times over. He also carved his jack-o'-lantern all by himself after school Friday. I was very proud of him for that. He used big boy tools and everything. And then we dressed up. He was Glam Rock Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was the night guard from Five Nights at Freddy's. I meant to at least post a picture because my dad